Welcome to the very first episode of
Ever.
2022.
No, rebranding.
Rebranding?
It's the first episode
Okay.
ever.
So what are we
Everything
calling
that we've done before. The undersmelly flowers. Coming at you strong in 2022.
Let's just do the
flower
intro.
which flower do you want to talk
Which
about
flower?
today? Which one of the smelliest ones?
I want to talk about the death flower.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Because
Starting
that's
off
how
intensely.
I'm feeling
Yeah, death flower.
when you bring up the smelly flowers.
Yeah.
All right, let's kick this off. You're Dan.
And you're Adela.
Welcome to another episode of
The Underbelly Hour! In my basement.
Take off your coat, stay a while!
All right. Woo! Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your girl, it's the boys. All sorts of things are happening on the show today.
Yeah, welcome to the show.
It'll be a good time.
If you like what you hear,
Are you ready?
you can find us on Underbelly Hours,
All sorts of
on all the socials, where you get your favorite local takes on the local greats.
Here it comes. Ready? Sing it with us. Okay, kick off your coat. Whatever. Take it off.
Kick off your coat. That's a feat.
Kick
Right
off
there.
your coat.
That's a feat.
That's a feat. Yeah, that's a.
You'd like, whoosh, and then you have to do like a front flip.
Yeah, I started playing some pun games
Wow.
over break, so
Incredible. Okay,
watch
well,
out.
Very
We're
good.
gonna be all warmed up then for the game that's gonna be coming later. And by that I just mean interviewing guests and being goofy, which is going to come up, of course, later in this podcast. We have a wonderful guest called Violet Crime, and they are a
Oh.
band.
I thought we were. Oh.
We are recording.
I thought we were.
intro.
I read the name wrong. I thought we got Violent Femmes.
Oh no, not Violent Femmes. Which that would be cool, but no, it's Violet Crime, and they're a fantastic band. Wait, come back, Dan,
Okay.
because we're gonna talk to them. It's gonna be a great time. But before we get to all that shenaniganing, we wanted to
I like it. Can we make that the word of
shenaniganing.
2022?
Let's do it.
Shenaniganing.
All right, I love
I can't say it. Never
it.
mind.
You
I don't
messed
like
it
this
up,
word.
but
My speech impediment is can't do that one.
right when I thought I finally did something to impress you. You fucked it up.
Wow. Okay. Jeez.
All right, so as you can
Just
see,
ruined
nothing's
my
really
confidence.
changed since last year. We're still being the goofy peeps that we are, but we did want to include an occasional segment, which is what we're going to do right now, talking a little bit about some headlines that you should know if you're interested in the Chicago scene, or if you're a musician in the Chicagoland area. These are some things that you might want to know about.
Or if you just aren't interested in it at all, and somehow you've stumbled across this one, but you need some more talking points at your, nights out with friends and stuff. You could be like, hey, did you know that the local scene is requiring like so-and-so to
Yeah.
do that and that? And then your friends can be like,
Wow.
no, we don't care. So you can shut up now.
Well,
And then you'll just feel great.
I think that hopefully that won't happen to you, but best case scenario, this is going to be good information for your ear holes.
It's always been my experience at least. When I try and talk about local music, they're always
That's
just like,
true.
oh yeah, we get it. Shut your mouth.
Well,
Shut it. Zip it.
hopefully this, I think
That's
this.
why I miss this.
Yeah.
I've been ruining everyone else's day. Just like, have you heard?
All right.
And they're like, no.
Well, it's a good place to vent about it then.
Have you heard the good news? This is the good
Well-
word. This is the good fight.
Okay, speaking
I'm
of,
sorry.
do you want to do good news or like neutral news first?
Good news. Always start with
Always
the
the
good
good
news.
news. Okay, Golden Dagger, which suffered a fire late last year.
I thought this was good news.
They're reopening.
Oh,
They're
there's the good
reopening.
news.
There's the
Hey!
good news. On January 19th, 2022, their fundraising efforts went above and beyond what they were expecting. So not
Beyond
only
and above.
beyond and above. So not only were they able to get all of the money needed to complete the reconstruction, but they were also able to pay their staff during this difficult time, which is really cool. I loved seeing how quickly the Chicago scene kind of came together and started pitching in to help this venue.
I heard paying your staff is actually like the new trend for 2022. I heard that it was actually catching steam at the end of last year, like actually
I know.
paying your people.
It's pretty fucking crazy.
I know. I was like, why are we
We're
doing
used to
this?
just
What a concept.
But I'll never understand the new times.
the new times of paying people. Yeah.
I grew up in a coal mine.
You know? Well,
With a-
unlike
with a-
your tragic backstory, these people
Pack of
managed
cigarettes rolled
to...
up in my sleeve. Smoking 8 a day at the age of 8. That's what you had to do back then to survive. One
Yeah.
cigarette for each year of your life down there.
I see.
Sorry, yeah.
So
it's a
Golden
Dagger.
Dagger's reopening
That's exciting.
on
I like
January
that.
19th.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a really cool place, and especially ever since they did the whole rebranding, because they were Tonic Room before, right?
Were they?
Yeah.
So this isn't really a reopening then.
Well, it's a reopening of...
This is like a just
No. They were Tonic Room, and then they rebranded to Golden Dagger
before they closed
before the fire happened. Yes,
down. Wow,
Dan.
I really missed
Dan,
that. Have
you not
been
been
paying attention
to the Golden Dagger? You should go. It's,
No,
it's a good time.
Wow. Wow. My bad.
Wow, that is actually pretty crazy.
That is.
So
I completely missed that. When did it become the Golden Dagger?
last year, like at the beginning of 2021,
That's the worst time.
or like the
I wasn't paying attention.
yeah.
Do these venue owners know, like, you should only do shit when I pay attention?
Yeah, because otherwise it's like
Or else
it never
just gets
happens.
missed and it never happened, and like, it's not
Yeah.
actually important then, right?
That's true. I mean, just say that to all the bands who've been performing there for the last year.
Yeah. Not important.
Oh my god. In any case, Golden Dagger. I'm happy that it's coming back, and apparently Dan's never been there, so it'll give Dan an excuse. I'm gonna leave that on the floor. It's gonna give Dan an excuse to finally check it out.
I
So
guess.
that's good. Nice. And then
Who's
the
playing there? Anyone? Who's the opening night?
opening night? Oh boy. Oh geez.
I've never heard of them before. Are they like a indie? They sound very indie rock.
Okay, here's
Oh
who's
boy,
gonna be
oh geez, oh boy.
opening on the very first day back, which is interesting. It's interesting that they choose a Wednesday to come back.
Hump day.
Hump day, I guess,
Yeah.
It's Valley Boy and Living Thing are gonna be performing, which I haven't heard of either of those acts actually, so I'm excited to see. I probably won't be there at the reopening, but they always have interesting peeps. They do a big variety of both Chicago people and also touring, or they were kind of trying to do the touring band thing. Obviously it's kind of hard because half the bands that are touring right now end up just postponing their tours and their tour dates, so it's just been...
Yeah, I don't know what the hassle is. It's like nobody can hold a tour down anymore. I'm like, okay, guys, I don't know.
No.
It's just, everyone's just so lazy now.
Just
It's all just laziness.
nothing else going on. Absolutely.
I can't think of honestly anything.
No.
I mean, I guess maybe the weather.
Wow, yeah, that's true.
That would
Daylight
Daylight
savings
savings,
kills
I
the
mean,
mood for everyone. So
seasonal affective
Nobody wants
disorder is intense
tour.
this year.
that's true.
But other than that, I can't think of a single damn thing.
Speaking of other things.
Oh wait, there is a transformer on the loose.
Sorry.
Omicron. I heard that's a pretty big
Yeah.
deal.
Yeah. Okay. It's the Transformer Omicron. Actually, you're right. It's kind of causing tour delays. Also, it's causing all venues in Cook County and also suburban Cook County to require proof of vaccination if you are going in the doors of their establishment, because you have to be vaccinated to protect against the evil Transformer Omicron.
Where's Optimus?
That's true. We're waiting on him. He's daylight savings.
Damn
Slept in.
He missed his space flight.
He did.
Galaxies away from the Allspark, I guess. I
Like,
don't know.
yeah. So yeah, that's happening, which, I mean, if you've been doing any sort of playing in the area or just vaguely watching any sort of news you already know about, I guess the one thing I wanted to bring up with that, because I've seen people talking about it on Facebook, who don't know.
Are they getting all scared about the lack of Optimus?
They're getting pretty scared about lack of Optimus Prime. But if you are a musician, you don't have to necessarily get vaccinated to play a place.
Because musicians are immune to Transformers.
No, I don't know what it is.
Just like,
I think it's something about
musicians got nothing for me. I don't need to deal with them.
I wish I could explain to you why. It's just a thing. If you go on Chicago.gov, there's like a bunch of exemptions to the people who have to show their vaccine card. You don't have to show your vaccine card to play. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of throw that out there.
Because that makes all the sense.
I don't know. Hey, don't shoot the messenger.
I know, but it's my job to,
That's true.
Be an asshole about it.
Hey, it's important.
I love it, too, like, I won't get into the politics. I just like noticing and observing sometimes the lack of logic with some decisions made.
That's
Not
very
that
true.
I agree or disagree with these decisions. I'm not making a statement there.
Right.
But just the funniness of it, of like, all right, everyone has all the mandates coming at you January 1st. Mm-hmm. Like, that gives us 2 weeks to
get as sick as you want.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know.
If you're so concerned, why are you pushing it back past all the crazy holidays where people meet up and, boopity boppity and shaboopity dangy dang.
That's very true. Especially the dangy dang.
Well, I mean, that's what I'm saying. That's how things are going to go down.
That's how Omicron finds you at your weakest moment.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, I agree.
I'm just saying, I think it's
right. I mean, I think it'd be interesting to start talking about these kinds of things because it does feel like sometimes it feels like people are making decisions just to show that hey, we're doing something and. We're trying to
it's perform,
but then they don't think things all the way through.
No, you just don't understand the Transformers like I do. Okay. They love a good performance. Okay,
so
they want to be entertained,
and then people shoot them while they're being okay, so the musician draws the.
Have you seen Transformers?
I don't. Yes.
You're way in over your head right now.
Okay. I've seen one with Megan Fox in it because my brother had a crush on Megan Fox.
Yeah, we all did 10 years ago.
10 years ago, yeah.
And then we see her now, and it's like, you're dating Machine Gun Kelly.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think
hell happened to you.
She's still super pretty, but why does
you can start seeing I've seen this. Okay, quick digression.
Okay.
I love making fun of vanity.
That's fair. That's fair.
It's funny when you're an actress or something for a while and they first break onto the scene. It's like, oh wow, yeah, she's beautiful, she's gorgeous, wow, blessed with great looks, and you got the acting chops for days. Like, wow, this person's going to be around for a while, and then they are around for a while, and then 5 years later, it's like, what the hell happened to your face? Why are your lips huge and your cheeks look like plastic, and why are you so shiny? Like, what happened to you? It's like, oh yeah, Instagram. Just
the existence of plastic surgeons who keep trying to.
It's so gross.
Yeah.
Like, listen,
just let yourself age because that's what happens to human bodies.
Listen, ladies.
And men. There's some guys who get into honestly, all the rock stars when they get 67.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh my god.
And all those hair metal people are just
all of a sudden they have Squidward lips.
Skin is just stretched all the way back 5 miles backwards. But listen. Most guys. I'm speaking on most guys that are good. You know, people that you'd want not the what's the term for them? Fuck boys.
Yes.
Not those. Genuinely decent human beings with souls and consciences and feelings and stuff. Mm-hmm. They don't like that look. It's gross.
Yeah.
We actually prefer less makeup. We don't want to see the line on your neck of your spray tan or whatever, or your foundation. I don't want to be able to just peel a mask off and be like, oh, well, you don't need all that shit.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's fun
Dan's
when
tips
you use
for
like
2022.
Dan's
Go for the
tip.
all natural look.
You know, it's,
Less makeup's better.
I think if you're using it to like plan an outfit or like exaggerate things, it's always like could be a fun way to express yourself. But
I'm only accepting raccoon eyes from now on. Complete like out to here
yeah.
eyeshadow.
Oh my god. Beautiful.
You're right. Like if
Gorgeous.
I'm not afraid of you robbing my house, you're doing it wrong.
All right. Anyways, though, that was I think
did that fill enough
the
time?
end of.
Are they ready for us?
I think they are ready for us. Do you want to talk briefly? Is there any song that you want to mention to shout out? Because why don't I shout out really quick? Jan Maxon's new album, which I totally.
Of course.
I totally missed. I missed it. I don't know how. Like, didn't it pop up on my timeline? And then all of a sudden he was like, "Hey, have you listened to my new album?" And I was like, "What? New album? That's crazy." It's called The Alchemist. It's pretty sweet. It's got a little bit of a darker tinge than his previous album, which was Sempre. It's still all instrumental, which is a little bit of a step back from his kind of other stuff that he was doing with doing folk arrangements or even writing his own songs in Russian and kind of adding more of like a rock feel to it. This is an all instrumental album. Very cool. You hear a little bit more of, I think, there's like a couple songs that have these cool like primal like drum beats that kind of are like there and insistent throughout the whole song. So it's definitely got kind of like a darker feel, but it's really interesting and fun because Jan Maxon rocks.
He is amazing.
He's amazing. So go
He's
check
great.
it out. The Alchemist.
Do it.
I love it. I think my favorite song from that album would have to be Becoming Wind or White Sun, because I remember there's some really sick cello like solos in those. So
That guy, just like every time I think of him, I just think about how amazing it was when he came by the Elmhurst studio right after getting off a flight.
yeah.
Like he
slept for like 3 hours
slept
or
for
something.
3 hours, and I think he had to make another flight or something
Yeah.
after that, or he had to make another, like he had another commitment right after us. I'm like, dude, like who goes out of their way for us for
I
a
know.
little college station?
I was so.
When you're,
I think he really wants to.
it is a really cool thing.
He's a really
great
cool guy. Yeah, I think he's also somebody who just really wants to get young people interested in like instrumental stuff.
Because fuck the oldies, am I right?
No, but I suppose.
I'm kidding. Yeah, I love the oldies.
Okay.
Maybe not so much old people, but the oldies.
The oldies.
Great.
Okay.
I'm kidding again. Jeez. I'm an old soul.
Anyway, that's my pick. What are you gonna pick?
Jason
Benefield.
Yeah,
He's a cool guy.
Came out with a new song while we were away. It's called Lay Low, which is what I always want to do.
Lay low. That's fair.
Just lay low and wait for life to completely pass you by.
Wow. All right.
Anyways, with that nice uplifting note, are we going to play it, or should I just say it to tell everybody to go listen to it?
We could throw it in the podcast. Why not?
Sure.
All right.
Here it is. Jason Benefield, Lay Low on the Underbelly hours in my basement still.
Built a case against myself, found me guilty on all charges. You're a horseshoe, and I'm a hand grenade. We're both close enough to count, and still so far away. And I wonder how much more we can take. Fall gave way to winter, summer fades too soon. I swear to God it's cold the whole damn year. And this noise fills up my head. If I don't clear some space, that sound will be all I can hear. Slow down, let go. Slow down, let go. Breathe deep, lay low. Weather turned too fast for the leaves to change and fall, so the first snow brought the branches crashing down. The taste of coffee in December on a cold gray afternoon, sitting on the quiet side of town. Slow down, let go. Slow down, let go. Breathe deep, lay low. Slow down, let go. Slow down, let go. Breathe deep, lay low. I built a case against myself, found me guilty on all charges. You're a horseshoe, and I'm a hand grenade.
So now we're at the point of the show where we're going to bring on our very special guest and the first guest of 2022. Very, very exciting stuff.
Oh my god.
Yeah, we got Violet Crime here on board. Not all the members, but we have Jeff and Selena. So can you guys both introduce yourselves and what you do in the band?
Go ahead, Selena.
Oh, thanks, Jeff. I'm Selena Doran. I am from Bellingham, Washington. I'm actually there right now, back in the Pacific Northwest. And I play guitar, rhythm guitar, and sing in Violet Crime.
I'm Jeff Mills. I am here in Chicago, and I also do those two things in Violet Crime.
Yeah, and more.
Nice.
And more.
Whoa, very, very cool.
Jeff does all the stuff. He plays drums, he plays piano.
Not in this band, but yeah, I do those things, yeah.
We got a multi-instrumentalist over here.
Multi-instrumentalist. That's always fun. Cool beans. All right. Well, thank you guys both for coming on the show. But before we get into the questions and, talking about your latest music and your shows and everything.
Diving into the existential crises that we're all going through.
Yes.
I was hoping we could talk about that.
Yeah.
I mean, hey.
That was actually one of our biggest critiques from last year's season, was that we didn't talk more about existential dread.
That's true. We're too joyful.
Yeah.
So before we get there, though, this is your first time on the show. So we gotta subject you to the first round of games that newcomers face, which is...
Something sounds so scary. It's just an icebreaker game.
It's an icebreaker game, it's true.
You just ask them stupid questions.
That's true. 3 stupid questions to be
Very
exact.
stupid questions.
We're asking you guys to describe your music in non-musical terms. And then at the end of these 3 questions, we're going to ask the audience to picture your responses in their mind, and we're going to play the first track of the podcast from your band. So yeah, you guys ready to start?
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
In non-musical terms.
Right.
Yes.
Right. I'll start us off.
You'll see.
I got a really good one.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
Dan.
Ooh.
If your music was a color.
Oops.
Yeah.
Oh wait, you're right. No, yeah, okay. Now I'll come up with somebody.
Come on, yeah, you can do better than that. Come on.
Anyways, if your music was a type of furniture,
Okay.
perhaps a sitting device or a table to put coffee on, whichever you prefer.
A
I don't know
storage device.
what a storage device, a nice throw rug, maybe. What best describes your music? If your music was a article of furniture.
I think like I don't know if this is furniture, but like just the blanket that you always have. That's just always where you hang out and watch TV. Your trusty blanket. That's not really furniture, but that's just what.
Not quite, but
Will you let it slide?
it's still early in 2022, so we're coming out of that. Yeah, we'll allow it. I won't
Oh my god.
I won't throw
I was
down the
gonna
hammer.
say, if our music was furniture, those huge, squishy, not beanbag, but beanbag type chair, the big ones that you like fall into and it envelops you.
Mm-hmm.
Those ones, not the ones from like way back when, but the new big ones. That where you sit in and it's just so cozy.
Just like
those
envelops
cloud
you.
chairs. Yeah, do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It's the new and improved beanbag chairs.
Yeah.
It's like the similar, but like they're better. We know what you're talking about.
It's the Venus fly bag chair. Because it just like closes in on you. You know?
I mean, that's a little dangerous, Dan.
Well,
Okay.
I think I've seen one in the shape of a Metapod.
Okay.
The Pokemon.
I didn't know.
That was a cool one.
Alright. Cool. So we're just gonna call it like the future, or what do you call it? The Venus
Don't worry.
fly?
No, that's a horrible name. We're not
Okay.
using that.
We're gonna say beanbag-like chair.
Yeah.
Cool.
The new and improved.
New and improved beanbag.
Just the new beanbag chair. Like new Coke, it'll just be new beanbag chair.
Okay.
Except not everyone will hate it.
Okay. Alright, so
I hope not.
Laughing in the background.
That's right. Sometimes we manage to make him crack a smile. He's sometimes tough though. But anyway, question number 1. Responses were blanket and
New
the
beanbag chair.
new beanbag chair.
Yes.
Question number 2. All right. So, if your music, if you could describe it or pair it, you know how sometimes like you go to a fancy restaurant and they'll say, "Oh, this meal pairs really well with like this wine." What type of beverage, doesn't have to be alcoholic, but what kind of beverage pairs best when someone's sitting down and listening to your music? Like you're putting on a Violent Crime record, whatever, and you're sitting down with a cup of blank.
I'm gonna say an old fashioned with rye.
I was gonna say that too. An old fashioned or a Manhattan.
Yeah,
Nice.
like in that or a martini, but I'm
Some
gonna
kind
go
of whiskey drink.
Yes, very whiskey, rye.
Mm-hmm.
Got to get that class in there.
Yeah, a little bit
Nice
of classy, a little
classy
old-fashioned, you know.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason why old fashions are called old fashions. So like,
'Cause
it's a little
they're
on the older side.
Old fashioned.
That's true. You know?
Are you going somewhere with this?
No. I just wanted to throw it out there because they have a little bit of a vintage, like
Yeah.
flavor.
I mean, our music did land on Retro Soul, and we were on the top retro songs of 2021 Spotify.
Whoa!
Spotify thinks we're old fashioned.
Yeah.
Nice.
And old fashioned happen to be my favorite drink, so.
Girl,
Works out.
same.
I had some
Solidarity.
amazing old fashions over New Year's Eve.
I love old fashions. And my ex co-host on the radio always makes fun of me for liking old
Oh,
fashions.
I thought this was where you were firing me.
No, not you.
Live on the air.
Live on the air. This is my new ex-co-host. See ya. I'm like,
No, but it's good to see we're in good hands here with old-fashioned lovers, so that's cool. Okay, question number 2 response was old-fashioned. Yeah, number 3?
Number 3.
Throwing it to you.
Why are you this way?
I'm getting energy,
The
man.
way that you are.
I like to get the energy going.
If your music, we might as well complete the fancy dinner. Well, not
Okay.
fancy, but just the dinner, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, if your music was a meal, what meal would it be? Or dessert, or any appetizer, hors d'oeuvres.
Are you making it too big? This is a broad category.
I know.
Okay, fine.
I want to make it hard.
All right.
Surf and turf.
Surf and turf.
Can you remind? Can you remind us what that is again? Actually.
Surf and turf.
Can you
Yeah.
remind
It's
Adela?
like-
Can you remind Adela? Yes.
It's like you get it's usually like I think a fillet steak, and then like lobster or crab. It's like a double protein dinner.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Why surf?
I don't know
and turf?
why I chose that. I was just, I don't know why. It's just the first.
I mean, well, like a fillet is like a really, you know, rich, fancy cut of steak,
I was
and then
thinking it's,
lobster
like,
is
fancy,
is
and
super
I think
fancy.
our music is like kind of fancy sounding.
Yeah.
So I just
polished.
love surf. I had surf and turf on New Year's Eve, so
Okay.
maybe it's just on the brain.
Nice.
I had the surf and turf minus lobster.
So just a turf.
So just the turf.
That's a steak.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right.
I heard Josh laugh. All right, we're doing well.
1 point for Jeff.
What do you think? I want to try and mix it up. What you said, apps or dessert? This is a hard one. I would say I was gonna go. We're like on the same vibe, Jeff. I was gonna say like a very similar answer to that, but let's go with like tiramisu if it was a dessert,
Nice.
like a little sexy.
That was my
Oh.
dessert after I had my surf and turf on.
Yeah.
I was really related to you guys. I had what was the dessert? What's the one that's like a hard surface, but then it's like a custard?
Creme brulee.
Creme brulee. Yeah, creme brulee.
Mm,
Still kind of fancy, but not tiramisu.
No, tiramisu's another level.
sounds French.
Yeah,
Yeah. All right. Cool. So.
dang French people. All right, so you're in a new beanbag chair
Mm-hmm.
with your favorite blanket cover sheet.
Yeah,
thing.
Blanket.
Eating surf and turf with tiramisu on the way as dessert
Okay.
while you're sipping some old fashions.
Yeah. And you're listening
Sounds
to,
fantastic.
in the background, you're hearing the lovely sounds of Violet Crime. Specifically, let's do your latest track, which is.
Let's do it.
Oh, where did it go? It was right here. Wait, guys. Because I wanted to say, Still in Love It's Not. Keep It To Yourself is the latest single. So this is what's playing in the background as you're enjoying this lovely image that we set up for you. Okay, so you're listening to Keep It To Yourself by Violet Crime on
The Underbelly Hours! In my basement.
I remember the day that you touched me and stayed. Everything I ever thought I knew about you. Tell me, was it true? I remember the night on Magnolia Avenue with all the lights. Everything you ever said to me in that room. Keep it to yourself if you change. Keep the shit I left at your place. I'm not gonna be just another heart in your wake. Then I saw you walking with her on a Tuesday, but you told me it was never gonna go that way. Took too long for me to understand the full truth. 'Cause I wanted you, and I found a picture back when we were okay. Never knew that you could hurt someone you loved that way. Now I see intention in the stones that you threw. Keep it to yourself if you change. Keep the shit I left at your place. I'm not gonna be just another heart in your wake. I don't wanna give while you take and break another promise you made. I'm not gonna be just another heart in your wake. I don't need closure. See what you did. Took my city back, kept my life intact. I can see the cracks in your crown. I won't remember all the things you did when you called me babe, just to get your way. Delete my number if you haven't yet. I know you haven't yet. Keep it to yourself if you change. Keep the shit I left at your place. I'm not gonna be just another heart in your wake. I don't wanna give while you take and break another promise you made. I'm not gonna be just another heart in your wake. Heart in your wake. Heart in your wake.
So, after that lovely single, that was your latest single, right, Violet Crime? Keep It To Yourself. You guys kind of, I noticed after you released this song, though, on Spotify, all the latest 3 singles are sorted into one EP and kind of have like this general theme about like some heartache. There's love there, but it's maybe some broken trust, maybe some heartache in there. Was that your intention to release this EP as like just 3 singles and then put them together in the end for your listeners to enjoy, or are these just singles that you decide along the way fit each other well, and that's why you put them onto your little playlist together?
Well, there's more to come still.
Ooh.
So, yeah, I think heartache was definitely the theme for this tune. But our release plan has kind of been to give each single a real shot on its own, which and Spotify is also cool because you can continuously like release the songs into a collection and they retain their their streams and their independent identity too. So.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Cool.
Is that do you guys think that's the way to do it now? Like, not even for, like, do you think you just have to do that now? It's not just by choice. It's kind of like the algorithms have forced the release strategy to be that way. Like, even if you don't have a creative way of doing it. Like, I see bands doing that all the time where it's like every week they'll put out another song from the album, and then by the time the album's out, you've already heard like 7 of the tracks. And it's like, oh. As a fan, it's hit or miss with me, because sometimes then it's like the album comes and it's like nothing really new. It's like 2 extra songs. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, yeah, I've been jamming to this already. But yeah, what is your guys' take on it as musicians in a band releasing music? Do you think you guys like are forced into this now for the foreseeable future, this kind of release strategy, or
do you actually like enjoy just doing the singles game rather than choosing to do a full album and kind of dropping that every year or so?
I think we've kind of been forced into it for like 2 different angles. The first one is what you mentioned, is that is just how the game is now, and that's how it's how the algorithm that's how you maximize the algorithm. And like we can we can talk about data and like how there's an optimal time frame between songs in terms of like getting playlisted. Like we did our homework on all that stuff, and that's why the release has kind of been this way. But also I think because our last record, Paper Queen, we didn't quite do it. We released a couple singles and then put out a 5-songer. But in that time, we were fortunate enough to be able to go to the studio for 10 days, 10 hours a day, and just record it all at once. Whereas, like, we finished Still in Love over a year ago, well over a year ago, and only released it when, like a couple months ago. Whereas, like, Keep It to Yourself, we recorded that one very recently, and we're still working on stuff now. So we kind of have this distributed recording schedule, which also happens to fit into the release pattern that seems to be more successful these days.
Yeah. And I'll add to that I left Chicago like early pandemic to move back to the West Coast. And so that also played into our release schedule being this way, because to Jeff's point, when we were all in the city together, we could go into the studio and just knock out, songs one after the other. And now I've been flying back pretty consistently over the past year and a half to record. And so we've been writing remotely and doing sessions remotely and then flying in and doing things together. So I think there's been some that have been forced because of just the reality of the pandemic, but also the fact that a lot of people are doing it this way, like you were talking about, right? Like so many people are choosing to release singles one after the other. And it's interesting to see that, because I can relate to your sentiment about like sometimes as a listener, it's like, is that what we want? I'm not sure. But for us, it's been cool to be able to release it one at a time and get the hype for each song independently and then kind of build on that. So it's been cool.
Cool. I'm curious. So, right, you just mentioned that you've moved out to the West Coast. Are the rest of the band members here in Chicago then still, or have you guys all been kind of slowly getting more and more like actually physically remotely away from each other during this time?
No, they're all there. Yeah, they're like real. I mean, you guys.
Yeah, we're all here.
We all live really close to each other.
Tom and I live together, actually. And then Kevin lives just one neighborhood over. Casey's like, he lives in Rogers Park, so he's like a 25-minute drive versus a 3-minute drive. But yeah, we're all pretty close by.
Nice.
So far.
Yeah.
City people complaining about 25-minute drive. Come on. Come on.
No, I think it's nice that it's interesting for me to hear that, because you guys all, we'll go back to, I have some questions about like how you guys managed to work out being remote and stuff, because that's interesting. We had a band last year come on that has been doing that like remotely, like their entire career.
Nature's Neighbor.
Nature's Neighbor, exactly. So we'll come back to that idea in a second, but not to get too far ahead of ourselves, because just in case people don't know much about the history of Violet Crime and stuff, from the songs, you guys have a really tight groove. You guys sound really professional, just beautifully done songs. I'm curious then, how long have you guys been together as a band? Have you guys known each other as musicians for a long time already, or has this just great chemistry come about simply because of, happenstance and just great musicianships within the group?
I love this story, Jeff.
Like our first, I think, big show with the 5 of us was the summer of 2018, or like July of 2018. And that was shortly after kind of we like officially formed as a band. Tom and I go all the way back to high school. At Geneva High School, we were both in like jazz band and marching band there, and we had our own like jazz combo that would play in the hottest coffee shop patios in Geneva, Illinois. Nice. And then so that's how he and I know each other. Kevin and Casey and I all went to college together at Illinois State, and Kevin and I happened to be in marching band at Illinois State together, and that's how we met. And when we started toying around with the idea of starting a band. I don't know if you guys know, you should follow Tom personally, because he was more so in college. He was like pretty popular on Instagram for just playing guitar. He had like a ton of followers, and his videos would get a lot of reach. And it was before like Kevin knew him, and I remember like sitting in our dorm, and Kevin would be like, "This dude is so good, and he has ginormous hands." Like, so when it was like, "Oh, maybe we're like thinking about starting a band up," he was like, "We got to get that big-handed guy in our guitar. He's so good." And then Casey and Selena know each other through more of a professional relationship, and that's how we came to know her.
Yeah.
If you want to talk about that, Selena.
So crazy. So I have been in consulting for the past 6 years, and we were actually trying to close Casey's business, his company, as one of our clients. So I had known him for a couple of years, and I work in the startup field, and we were just trying to get Casey to commit to working with us, and like couldn't get the deal. My boss and I were just like laughing about it because we knew him really well. And I was like, you know what? I just heard that Pack Back, his company, is having this open mic. I don't think Casey even knows that I'm a musician. I'm just going to show up and play and see if I can like become better with him and win some points. And it was more like a joke, to be honest, than anything. But I showed up to Casey's open mic night, and the guys played, and I did a set, and then it turned into Casey and the guys trying to convince me to join their band rather than us getting them as a client. And so it took a couple years because I was in grad school at the time. But they ended up convincing me to join the band, and the joke was that we never closed him as a client. So it was like he reversed it on us, and then we finally did like 2.5 years later. But it was just crazy to meet him through that realm. Had absolutely no idea that they had that beforehand, and then hearing them play together, it was just awesome. And just meeting them and getting to know them as people made me really excited to be able to play music with them. So it's a weird connection, but really fun.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard an origin story like
No.
that.
That's great.
We're trying to close the guys.
Weird things can happen
As a
at open
business
mics,
partner.
though, you know? Just open mics are a magical, strange place sometimes.
Yeah.
Really bad things can happen, too.
Yeah. I know more of those.
That sounds like there's a story there.
Too many.
Another time.
Another time.
Yeah. Well,
That might actually be a fun bonus episode. Just going through all like the highest of highs at open mics and
the
then
lowest
the
of
lowest
lows.
of lows.
Okay. That'd be fun. Yeah. Let's do it. Nice. So it sounds like you guys, it's kind of like the band kind of started forming as time went on. It wasn't an immediate click kind of a thing. It's not like you guys posted on Craigslist, hey, we need a drummer and a bassist and a singer, and you all had a first rehearsal.
People don't use Craigslist
I know.
anymore.
I
Come
just
on.
use Craigslist.
It's way too shady.
I just use it as an
It
example.
was shady when it
man.
first started, and now it's just like
That's true.
a cesspool.
By today's standards, it's really quite low.
You go to 8chan now. Come on.
Oh God.
Get the latest Q drop.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Some music.
Sorry, jokes, folks, jokes.
Yeah, if you welcome.
Don't dox me.
Welcome to Dan. So
He's somewhere in Wheaton in a basement.
Dang it! Reddit's already on it.
oh man. Did you guys always like so who's the primary songwriter then in the band? Is it you, Jeff? Because you and like was it Tom, right? Kind of like started this whole endeavor. And has that evolved as time has gone by from you guys to being more of like a, I don't know, jam kind of writing session, or perhaps passing off songwriting responsibilities to different band members for different songs?
Yeah. Kevin and I started writing songs together for fun in college. And I went to Illinois State, and I was in the music scene and playing shows as a solo artist, and some other people in that scene you probably know, like Jackie Hoiser from Better Love, and Tim Riccio from Bottom Bracket. If you guys know Bottom Bracket, they're like an instrumental prog band. Jeff Schaller Jeff Schaller in The Long Way Home. Like there was like, it's weird. There's like playing music in Chicago feels like part 2 of college at ISU sometimes. But yeah, so we did that, and then the open mic that Selena mentioned, Kevin and I would go and do those just for fun occasionally, like after work. And we just write songs sometimes. We never thought about starting a band until Casey, who was hosting the open mic, was like, do you guys want to start a band? And we were like, sure. So yeah, it kind of started with like, I guess Kevin and I writing songs together. And then this record was totally different. A lot of these started as, pretty much all of these songs started as loops that Tom recorded, and then just like with no context just emailed us the audio file, and it was like, here's the next thing. It was almost like he was like this grand wizard or like this like mythical oracle being, and he would just be like, oh, like here it is, here's the next thing. So and then we'd like run with it. And then so like the songwriting has been pretty distributed, especially this time around. Also working much more closely with Noam Wallenberg, our producer at Rackstrack Studios. He has gone beyond producing and has been pretty much co-writing the songs with us too.
Nice.
So yeah.
That's very...
For this latest one, it kind of follows what Jeff was saying, where Tom came up with this loop and it was awesome. And then Jeff approached me and was like, hey, I'd love for you to try and write the lyrics for this one. And I'm the type of person where I have like journals and journals and journals full of songs that I've written, because I also grew up playing music my whole life as a solo artist, but I never released my own songs and I never really put them out into the world. And so I don't call myself a songwriter by any means. And Jeff was like, hey, like, I really think that you could do something really cool here. And so the guys challenged me to step out of my comfort zone and do this. And I ended up like struggling through that process in a big way. And it honestly wasn't until like the day before we were going to be in the studio, I like locked myself away in an Airbnb in Chicago for 3 days and just had that song on loop and wrote these lyrics. And then Noam really helped us like get it to where it is now. But that was like a crazy process for me to open up and write something for the first time that I actually was like, yeah, I'll share this with people. Like, I'm proud of this. I think this is good enough. And having the guys like back me up in that way was really cool. So this was a new one for me, where I wrote the lyrics. But again, to Jeff's point, Tom came up with this melody and it was so sick. And I was like, yeah, we need to do something really cool with this and super vulnerable and real. And so that was the goal for this one.
And by this one, are you talking about Keep It To Yourself or one of the other singles? Okay, cool. Just want to make sure we're on the same page here. Very nice, very nice.
I feel like sometimes the best stuff tends to come out under,
stress.
The pressure of the gun.
The pressure.
Yeah. Just like that time is ticking, and it's like, and then it kind of allows you to not really, you don't have time to second guess yourself. You don't have time to really, let your conscious get in the way.
Ego.
So it just becomes this like subconscious stream of just like, blah, blah. Oh wow, whoa, that was cool. Yeah, let's keep that.
Related, just really quickly, because I thought I'd throw this out to you guys, also to you and you, because I found out about this like literally this weekend from my friend Michael. Speaking of writing under pressure, did you guys hear that there's a songwriting group on Twitch and Discord that every year they do. They call it the 2-hour album, and you don't sit down and write a whole album yourself in 2 hours, but the idea is you take 2 hours and they send out a prompt like right before the event starts, and you have 2 hours to write a song and record it yourself, whatever state it's in. It's 2 hours. By the end of the 2 hours, you submit it to them, and I think they pick most of it, but there's some sort of selection process that goes through, and then at the end of it, they release an album of all of these songs that people have created, and they do like a Twitch streaming party for it. It's really cool. I'll send you guys the link after we finish interviewing.
Who runs it?
I don't know. It's some like group. I write sometimes with this guitarist Michael Stalcup. We have like a little band in time, and he just sent it to me, so I had no idea where he found out about this, but I'll pass it on. I love the idea. I tried it and I epically failed because
To write a song in 2 hours?
yeah, because it was I for reference material, I tried reading a really heavy book before like starting. Because I found out the prompt was and the prompt was really kind of heavy. It was corruption. The prompt was corruption, and so I was like, okay, cool. I'm gonna finish this book I started ages ago called No Longer Human, to like be about
Sounds
corruption.
Like Muse.
And then I got so depressed I couldn't really make a good song, so I failed. I definitely got in my head, but the idea is cool, right? 2 hours, and I think it's something that is worth experimenting with more, perhaps as songwriters. Just like maybe not every time you sit down to write a song, but every once in a while, set a time limit for yourself, and just see what happens.
Yeah.
So
I think that means or they say like boundaries and restrictions breed creativity.
Right.
When you have to work within certain guidelines, sometimes that's when really cool stuff happens, as opposed to just like having no container to work in.
Because then you get like isn't there a term for it, like paralysis by like options
choice
or
paralysis,
something? Choice paralysis,
something
maybe?
like yeah.
When it's just
one
like
of those things.
you can do anything, and then a lot of people will just be like, I don't know what to do. Oh no, there's all these choices.
Totally.
Like what do I do?
Well, and even with this song, that's actually such a great point, because Jeff had written lyrics over the loop before we had finalized the song, and he had come to me and said like, hey, take a crack at it on your own. And to your point, that was so bizarre for me to like put out of my head what I had already heard from Jeff and just have that loop and be like, okay, just try and write something that fits this melodically, but that's not what Jeff did. But I wanted to keep the pieces that I loved from what Jeff had written, and it was like such a weird dynamic until I finally just like put it all aside, to your point, and was just like, okay, I'm just gonna write something new with this melody and see what comes out in this day or 2 day time frame. And it was crazy how it happened.
Nice.
But that was a new process for me, for sure.
Cool beans. Yeah. Let's switch over to talking about a little bit about your other 2 singles. And in order to do that, I want to throw in one of those 2 singles to kind of transition.
Let's do it.
I think since Bad Habits has an adorable little music video, that's the one we should play next. What do you think, Dan?
Do I have a choice?
No. You're listening to Bad Habits by Violet Crime on
The Underbelly Hours in my basement.
We all pay to procrastinate. It's a shame that I have to make time for everything. Time for everything. I could change, but I'd have to make a change to my habits. They don't go away for too long. Don't go away for too long. Hey, come on, sugar, call me out. Make it burn, make it count. I don't wanna run no more. I don't wanna run no more. I got some bad habits. If you want more, you can have them. Chase the feeling, take another. I got some bad habits. Still alive, but I'm automatic. Chasing feelings, taking numbers. I've been told that I'm all bankrupt of soul, and my patterns are getting old. I get by somehow, there's really not much to complain about. Funny how we can be so aware of the things that got us there. I can't slow down or I would. I don't take walks, but I should. Come on, sugar, call me out. Make it burn, make it count. I don't wanna run no more. I don't wanna run no more. I got some bad habits. If you want more, you can have them. Chase the feeling, take another. I got some bad habits. Still alive, but I'm automatic. Chasing feelings, taking numbers. It's the late nights. It's the headaches. It's the dim light and the blank page. It's the cold air It's about time I got out of my own way. You take the hard way, you pay it in full, just to feel like we're living it all. Get out of my own way. Get out of my own way. We all got bad habits, and you can never be too pragmatic. If we take our time, we can take our time. I got some bad habits. If you want more, you can have them. Chase the feeling, take another. I got some bad habits, still alive, but I'm automatic. Chasing feelings, taking numbers. I got some bad habits. If you want more, you can have them. Chase the feeling, take another. I got some bad habits.
Wait, hold on.
do you have it?
Wait.
You still got it? You still got it?
Oh, I still have it.
All right, there we go. There you have it, folks. Cool. So that last. Oh,
Sorry.
I give up. I give up.
Start 22 off, or 2022 off, right.
By smoking. Oh man. Okay. Bad habits. Speaking of bad habits.
Whoa.
I'm sorry.
Subjective.
Okay, true. All bad habits are kind of subjective, though. Cute music video for the song you last heard. It's up on YouTube now. Go check it out. It's great. It's got lots of fun aspects of it that kind of show you other people's bad habits. I love the little kids at the beginning. I thought they were adorable in their pool of candy. That's like every kid's dream. For sure. And I also was really confused for the longest time about why Jeff was being slowly covered in paper until I reached the very end. I'm like, it's very relatable. Because when you write songs and do any sort of creative work, I'd argue, sometimes you keep getting stuck in your own head and you keep trying things and you keep getting frustrated at them, so you just throw them away and they create their own monstrous pile of discarded ideas and stuff. And I was wondering, you don't have to answer this because this might be too personal. We can cut it out if you guys don't want to. But since the song's called Bad Habits, do each of you have a musical or artistic bad habit that you're trying to break this year? Or just in general, bad habit, I guess. You know.
I was gonna say the musical artistic part. I like that. Makes me think about it in a different way.
Right.
I have a lot.
We don't need to talk about your heroin use.
More?
I'm kidding.
I thought my people called your people about this. Yeah.
Sorry, the email got lost.
Musical bad habit? I have a ton. But I think probably I have a tendency to recycle ideas and just be self-unoriginal. I don't think I personally rip from stuff I'm inspired by, but just kind of rip from myself a lot. And it's like, I should be more original. So maybe that's one.
Do you tend to find yourself your fingers go to the same spots kind of when writing?
Absolutely.
That's
absolutely.
That's mine. I would say that's mine too.
And little things I tend to start verses of songs with this word all the time, the same word,
right.
or this same scale degree is where melodies start for me.
Yeah.
The major third is where it's just so easy that way. So breaking that stuff, I guess. Never really thought about it like that, but yeah.
I have two. I think one is I have a preference of singing in a lower register, and the guys are always pushing me to try and sing way higher, and Jeff's falsetto is 100 times better than mine. It's the best thing ever. But I think a bad habit is always going back to my root in bluegrass and blues and folk and belting it at this lower register. It would be really great to break that habit and try and push myself back into the old school choir days when I was a second soprano and used to feel great singing high. It's been a long time. Not anymore. It was a long time ago.
Second soprano.
That's pretty impressive.
That is.
I could never.
Not anymore. That's one. And then the second is the songwriting piece. I just have, like I said, this tendency to write songs that I like, and then I'm like, yeah, it's not good enough. And I just like put it away and do nothing with it and continue on. So I think trying to bring more songs to the guys and actually put it out there, even if they're not great or perfect, and be like, hey guys, what do you think? Let's roll with this.
Mm-hmm. What do you think? I'm curious. What do you think is something that's holding you back from doing that right now, from showing these songs? Because I mean, if you wrote the lyrics for "Keep It to Yourself," that was a great song. So I'm curious. Yeah, what's holding you back right now? What's making you feel like you're not sure about sharing your songs?
Yeah, it's the cheesiness for me. I'm always terrified of writing cheesy songs. Like I am one of the people that it's like, oh, the
Jeez
cheesiness.
Louise.
You know, and so for me, yeah. So I'm like, I want them to be like real and deep. To your point, I can relate to probably wanting to go read some deep book or something to inspire something that would be, you know, really unique and different. And so I'm always afraid of it being too many love songs or too many extra, whatever it might be. But I think that this song ended up being similar to that, and it was, you know, I liked it, so it worked out.
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah.
Cool beans.
Is that gonna be your new thing this year?
Cool beans.
Yeah.
Cool beans has always been my
Saying it
thing.
twice.
Saying it twice.
Oh, saying it twice is new. Yeah, that's
Used
true.
to be alrighty.
Alrighty. I did say that for a while, didn't I?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
A while is an understatement.
That was my bad. Alrighty, cool beans. Nice. Very. Where was I gonna go with this now? I don't remember.
Sorry.
It's okay.
I'm sorry.
You asked about musical bad habits.
Yeah, I did ask about musical bad habits because the song's called Bad Habits.
Answer.
I really like it. It's a great song. Do you guys? I'm gonna ask this question even though I don't necessarily like it. Because I feel like when we ask this question, people oftentimes don't know themselves why they write a certain way or why they're drawn to certain style sounds. But sometimes people do have a reason. So we kind of joked at the beginning, you know, there's like that splash of kind of vintage feel to your music. Is that an intentional, like you're intentionally going for this sound, or is it just simply the way that your songs tend to come out, is inspired because you've listened to a lot of older music back when you were developing your musical taste buds, and now that's just the style that you guys like to write in?
Yeah, it's really intentional, actually, especially this time around. So, but also, I think it all comes back to Tom's guitar playing. I think is like that's how he plays the instrument. It lends itself, like he's a real big fan of like Tom Misch. If you guys like Tom Misch, and can write like that. So, but I think it's like intentional because we kind of buried ourselves in that kind of music, more so like modern retro sounding, like Lawrence and Fat Night and like, you know, The Dip, like artists like that, where it's like, oh, we'd like to kind of try and approach that sound. And if you listen to enough of it, that's what you start to produce. So, yeah.
I would say it's super intentional because our new music sounds totally different compared to our last EP. And that influence came from, Wolfpack, Dip, Emily King, like a lot of that type of retro playing. And to your point, Jeff, Tom's guitar playing, he's just like, we joke all the time. He's just like a noodler. He's so smooth. And the way that he plays is just, it's perfect for that sound and that style. So we were like, let's lean into that more than we have before in the past.
Okay, interesting. So then what are, like, if you had to pick 3 factors that define the Violet Crime sound, what do you think? Obviously, it's got some vintage feel to it, but what are some things that, like, really, if you didn't have, or these 3 things are really necessary to create the sound that you guys are kind of going for right now?
What you said at the beginning, groove was really huge for this one. We spent a lot of time on drums, not because it not because they take a long time to get to a certain point, but just because your drums are what sets the whole tone for everything else that gets stacked. So I was trying to think about this question today, and it was really hard to come up with the factors, but groove would be one of them for sure.
Mm-hmm. And I would say Tom's guitar playing is the second one. And when I was thinking about this question, I was like, that probably sounds like such a, I don't know, cop out. But honestly, his strengths in that style, and he's like a master of playing this type of music, and the way that he does it, in my opinion, is different than so many other people and that are doing this type of thing. And he's just so good at what he does. And so his unique approach to writing music with this style like makes us what we are in a big way. Like I think Tom and his guitar is a really, really big part of our music. His leads, his riffs, like everything about what he does brings a lot. And combined with Jeff's lyrics, I mean, the power that you have, Jeff, with writing is just like so cool to watch too. So those two things combined for me make up the factors.
Very nice. I like that. Cool. Out of personal curiosity, "Still in Love" is probably my favorite of the 3 tracks you guys released. Who wrote that one? Because that's got, they all have groove, but that one's got like woo, right out of the gate, super groovy, right from the get go. So who wrote that one? Out of curiosity.
It started as a phone memo, like all great songs do.
Accurate.
So
many years ago, Kevin and I lived together, and it was actually he sent me a guitar, just like a few chords. I was like, what do you think of this? It was like right after we finished recording Paper Queen, and we were trying to write some new stuff, and I was like, that's cool. And I recorded the lyrics of the chorus were those were the placeholder funny lyrics that we started with that actually ended up being the final tune. And like the whole like instrumentation of the song like totally changed, like that real like funky unison bass guitar line, like that came way after and stuff. But the real core of it started with Kevin and I just like one day in our basement, just goofing around. I still have, it's fun to listen to the old like voice memos from like 3-4 years ago.
Yeah. I like always struggle with like which voice memos do you, because eventually you have to start throwing out voice memos because there's too much.
Make a song out of all of them.
Make a song. No, but like I mean obviously.
At least as a writing exercise, you know. They may come out like crap, but at least try and finish all of them and see where they go.
I mean simply from the point of like I like listening back sometimes to those like, oh, I was in the car obviously crying my eyes out, and I hear that in like, you know,
yeah, those you might not be able to get anything out
or like you know, and just like, you know, or you can see like kind of remember what places you were in. That was a really drastic example. I don't know why I went that far.
That's fun.
But
go find that one.
But you know, like,
or send it to us, we'll make it.
Oh man, I mean, I guess if anyone could, no, just kidding. This is, I don't know why I went to that particular thing, but yeah, it's always fun to kind of go back and feel like, yeah, this is where I started thinking about this idea. Yeah, this little idea.
I love when like you said, the silly placeholder lyrics or, you know, idea becomes like the thing that you want to use, like Around the World by Red Hot Chili Peppers, when he just starts doing the shing ding a dong bang dang ding dong, like whatever, just it's like he just recorded that just to get something down, and Rick Rubin was like, nah, let's keep it.
Yeah. Print that.
Print it. I think it was like, yeah, somebody's niece or daughter came in the studio and was like, I really like that sound. Yeah, it's funny. And they're like, all right, well,
go with it, right?
Cool, go with it.
Nice. Let's throw that in Still in Love with You at this point too, just so that the audience has the full spectrum so far of what's been released from Violet Crime's new sound. You're listening to Still in Love by Violet Crime on
The Underbelly Hours in my basement.
Me in the low light, thinking you were so bright, but darling, I'm going. Honey, I'll be up front, like to keep it real blunt. This is all too familiar now, but somehow my heart's still glowing. I'm just tired, baby, from running around chasing you. I know it's true, I'm still in love with you. Honey, you don't have the slightest clue. I know it's true, I'm still in love with you. You said it's been a long time, I've been trying to get mine. If it's all just the same to you, I'll take a shot for the road on my own now. Oh me, oh my, thought I left you in Puget Sound, but here you are in the big shoulder town. I'm just tired, baby, from running around chasing you. I know it's true, I'm still in love with you. Honey, you don't have the slightest clue. I know it's true, I'm still in love with you. We grew older, waiting for the walls to break. Who knows how long that takes? I don't know, but I'm still in love. We grew older, waiting for our points to make. Do we open up or do we break? I don't know, but I'm still in love. I'm still in love. I'm just tired, baby. I'm just tired. From running around chasing you, I'm still in love with you. And honey, you don't have the slightest, you don't have the slightest clue. I know it's true, I know it's true. I'm still in love with you.
I guess we should also mention during this interview, we were looking forward to your show, your single release show. It's unfortunately got postponed because of COVID.
Transformers.
Yeah, Transformer Omnicron just
Yeah.
came in. He's in town right now, so and we're still waiting on reinforcements.
Still waiting for Optimus.
Yeah, he's late.
Like
Overslept.
always. Always have to, wait till the last minute to be all dramatic.
That's true. Yeah. So I kind of wanted to reflect instead, since can't look forward to your new show. What have been one or two shows for you guys that you've really loved from your time as Violet Crime? Just shows that stick in your memory.
I'll jump in with the first one. This last show that we've just played, first one back after almost 2 years, was awesome for all the obvious reasons. Everyone's back in a room together. So excited to hear music and to play music, and having all of our friends there was so fun. And I flew out from the West Coast to be there, and getting to be with the guys for that amount of time and play, it was just after 2 years of not playing shows, it felt so good to be back together on stage, and just that joy of everyone singing. At one point, Jeff went into the crowd, and we were doing a sing along, and everyone was singing, and it's just nothing like that feeling when you're playing a show, even though it was tight and a smaller venue. It's just so fun. So that most recently, probably because it's fresh and because I missed it so much, and because I'm the one who's removed, so far away, that was a really refreshing show for me.
Yeah, that one was really fun. And the Golden Dagger's new. It's all they redid the stage and stuff. So that was our first time coming. I'd seen a couple shows before that in the new layout, but yeah. And then we had our friend Grace Coletta play with us, open the show, and we've done that a number of times, and we'll keep doing it because our I think it's just a good pairing when we play shows with Grace. So it was really fun to, and also sell out our first show back felt really good. And I think other than that one, I'm trying to think of my favorite pre-COVID show. It was probably our EP release for Paper Queen at the Bottom Lounge that summer of 2019. That was like our first really big like headliner show, and we had like all the artwork on stage, and it was a full audio visual event, which we'd never really done anything quite that big, and we promoted it and all ourselves and built the bill all ourselves. So it was kind of like, it felt really cool to like it felt like throwing a really awesome party.
Absolutely. Any dream venues in Chicago or otherwise that you'd like to play one day?
Wembley.
Well, in Chicago, probably Talia Hall.
I think that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
I love Talia Hall.
Yeah.
Which I think is sort of like, is in the challenge but achievable arena.
Right.
And then like Dream is Madison Square Garden.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's something.
Playing Lincoln Hall was so fun when we got to have that night, and then Talia for sure would be on my list.
Mm-hmm. There's something kind of like magical and slightly spooky about Talia Hall. I love it. It's a little like, ooh, a little bit
Beautiful
run
in there.
down, but like cool. There could be some ghosts lurking
Yeah.
in the corner.
There's definitely some ghosts. Or a phantom.
Yeah, so that's fun. It's a fun place. Cool. I think, we're kind of starting to come close to the end. We've talked about the 3 singles. You guys have a lot of stuff going on. There's more on the way, evidently, for Violet Crime. A lot more songs on the way. Can you say how many, or is that giving too much away?
I can tell you how many we've finished recording, which is 3 more.
Woo!
And then we were originally actually going to stop there when we initially started this recording plan, but we can't. We're going to keep going. So more to come.
Nice. Very
A lot
fun.
more, yeah.
And I assume this is a difficult question, but do you guys know when your show has been postponed to yet? Or is that kind of, yeah, okay.
I wish.
Yeah, it's been a difficult time right now for pretty much all venues. So no worries about that. But if people, one more thing before we really start wrapping up, we have to ask, why is your name Violet Crime? Because it sounds cool, but also it's interesting. There's 2 different words. It's purple crime. I
thought when I first heard about you guys back in like 2018 or 2019, before I heard any songs, I really thought you guys were a punk band.
I did too. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I was like, there's a new punk band on the scene.
So why the name?
Yeah, I just remember the first time. The first time my girlfriend's grandma asked me what my band's name was, and I was like, "Oh my god, I have to do this now. I'm gonna have to enunciate it very clearly. Violet Crime." It was one of a few band names we had picked out right before we really started. Like, okay, we need to start putting, social media posts and stuff out, and we like the business people we are, set a deadline for ourselves and said if we have to decide on a name by this day, and what the best thing that we've got on this date, that's what we're going with. And that was the best one, so that stuck. And it's gets misspelled and mispronounced all the time.
Wait, do it one more time. I didn't hear. Wow. Yeah.
Wow. Was that Owen Wilson?
Yeah.
Nice.
I feel like that's a good 50% of all band names. So usually it's like, oh yeah, we came up with this placeholder band name. Let's try and change it, guys, by this date. The date comes, There's no change.
Yeah.
Open up that dictionary and just start pointing.
Unless I think the only successful like execution of that is Jefferson Starship. I don't really know of any other bands that like, and that was even like a half change.
Yeah. Right.
But yeah.
Very cool. All right, cool. So now we have the full origin story of Violet Crime. Where can you guys be found on the interwebs if somebody's like, wow, I really like these guys and I want to follow them and be their biggest fan?
Yes.
Instagram is probably our most active channel. We do have a Facebook page that's pretty much just where we post the things that we just posted to Instagram. The Spotify follows are the most important thing. So Underbelly Hours listeners, please go to our Spotify profile and follow us and like all our songs, hit the little heart. And we also have almost 75 Twitter followers. So we never tweet, but if you guys want to follow us on Twitter, it was really funny. Somebody tagged us in a tweet once that was like, I woke up this morning and thought to myself, I wonder if there's a band called Violet Crime. And then I searched them, and here they are. Their music's good. They like tag us in a tweet, and I was like, nice.
Cool.
There you go.
I love
And
the
on
internet.
Insta, we're violetcrime_IL. If you want to follow us there.
Yes. And again, violet, like another
A
word
color.
for purple. And yeah, it's a color.
Not the
not
thing you should.
Yeah, not with an N. No N. Just Violet Crime. And singular, not plural.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for coming on the show. It's been a blast talking to you. Is there anything else you'd like to leave our listeners with? Any words of wisdom or any other information about your lovely group?
I don't know. I don't think so. Do you have anything else, Leah? I don't know.
I would say follow us on Insta. Follow Tom, like you said, Tom's Instagram for fun. Come to our show when it's safe for all of us to do that, and support all the local venues because everyone's struggling these days. So support all the local venues in Chicago. That's what's on my heart, guys.
That's
venues.
That's what we like to hear. That's. Oh my god.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. Well, that's what we need. Wait, can you save that? Because we also at some point need to do a rest in peace venues who we've lost to the pandemic. We need, because, also it's like actually a sad thing and we need to talk about that at some point. Okay, that's enough. Show's done. Show's over. Thank you guys for coming on the show.
Thank you guys. It's been so fun.
Yeah, this is another. If you like listening to local music, if you like trying to find cool interviews with people who make music in the Chicagoland area, or just want to find out about festivals, anything else happening in here, you can follow us.
What's so funny? It's not like I'm gonna hit a button right when you
I don't know.
finish the.
I'm scared of that, Dan.
Yeah.
We can follow us at the Underbelly Hours on all streaming platforms. Also, we got a Facebook and we have an Instagram. We have a TikTok, which we use very rarely. So if you have any good TikTok ideas, just send them over because we don't know what to do.
I have a great TikTok idea.
Yeah.
Get off TikTok.
Yeah. Oh my god. Wait, we can't say that to Jeff because Jeff has like a really huge fan base on TikTok.
It's all right.
Clint from my
Okay.
team. Also, go follow Clint.
No one's gonna listen to that. No one's actually gonna get off TikTok.
I know. All right. Anyway, that's us. So you're Dan.
And you're Adela.
This has been another episode of the Underbelly Hours.
In my basement.
So, yeah. Welcome to the show.
Oh, it'll be a good time.
If you like what you hear,
Are you ready?
you can find us on Underbelly Hours,
Oh, sorts of
on all the socials, where you get your favorite local takes on the local greats.
Here it comes. Ready? Sing it with us.
Like I see bands doing that all the time, where it's like every week they'll put out another song from the album, and then by the time the album's out, you've already heard like 7 of the tracks, and it's like, oh, As a fan, it's hit or miss with me, because sometimes then it's like the album comes and it's like nothing really new. It's like 2 extra songs. I'm like, oh, okay, well, yeah, I've been jamming to this already. But yeah, what is your guys' take on it as musicians in a band releasing music? Do you think you guys like are forced into this now for the foreseeable future, this kind of release strategy, or
do you actually like enjoy just doing the singles game rather than choosing to do a full album and kind of dropping that every year or so?
I think we've kind of been forced into it for like 2 different angles. The first one is what you mentioned, is that is just how the game is now, and that's how you maximize the algorithm. And like we can talk about data and like how there's an optimal time frame between songs in terms of like getting playlisted. Like we did our homework on all that stuff, and that's why the release has kind of been this way. But also I think because our last record, Paper Queen, we didn't quite do it. We released a couple singles and then put out a 5-songer. But in that time, we were fortunate enough to be able to go to the studio for 10 days, 10 hours a day, and just record it all at once. Whereas, like, we finished Still in Love over a year ago, well over a year ago, and only released it when, like a couple months ago. Whereas, like, Keep It to Yourself, we recorded that one very recently, and we're still working on stuff now. So we kind of have this distributed recording schedule, which also happens to fit into the release pattern that seems to be more successful these days.
Yeah. And I'll add to that I left Chicago like early pandemic to move back to the West Coast. And so that also played into our release schedule being this way, because to Jeff's point, when we were all in the city together, we could go into the studio and just knock out, songs one after the other. And now I've been flying back pretty consistently over the past year and a half to record. And so we've been writing remotely and doing sessions remotely and then flying in and doing things together. So I think there's been some that have been forced because of just the reality of the pandemic, but also the fact that a lot of people are doing it this way, like you were talking about, right? Like so many people are choosing to release singles one after the other. And it's interesting to see that, because I can relate to your sentiment about like sometimes as a listener, it's like, is that what we want? I'm not sure. But for us, it's been cool to be able to release it one at a time and get the hype for each song independently and then kind of build on that. So it's been cool.